Right, hello, we are back with Bob King's Takamine EN-18 Dreadnought guitar. Got it all on the jig now. The frets are in as you knew anyway. We're now going to, before we do the file the edges of the frets, we're going to level them first. And if you look, I don't know if you can see there, I've got them marked up. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 frets need a little bit of leveling here and there. Different areas of the frets need just a little skim. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go across with the leveling beam all the way across all of the frets. It's what we normally do, but because some of these are a little bit high, even though we're seated right, I'm going to remove the excess off, or the extra, just with a flat file. This is the way I choose to do things. So anywhere that's particularly high, let's try and find one, 12 ones, this one's normally a big one. That's high. Rather than go across a lot and keep hammering that one and scratching all the other ones up, what we're going to do is I'm going to remove the bulk of the height of this just with a flat file, like so. I'm going to have to clean the file shortly, I've not cleaned it yet, but that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to remove what needs to be removed until it's just a little bit, only a little bit high, and then I'll level all the frets all together. It'll just make the job a lot easier in the long run. Still quite a bit of height on there, about right there, a little bit there. So that's what I'm going to do, is how I choose to do this. If you're going across with a sanding beam all the way along, and say you've got 3 or 4 that are really high, you're going to bring them down, but also then you're going to start, if it's all at this end, you're going to start removing stuff from that end. You don't want to do that. You need to get more or less in the ballpark, so we're all pretty much the same level. Then you go across with a sanding beam, and you're going to be leveling the whole lot together. It's just a much easier way of doing things. And once you've got them all more or less level, go across with the coarse grit, which in this case I use 240 grit, and then once you've got them level, you turn your leveling beam over. Just bear with it, I'll show you, it's easy to show you. There's my leveling beam, and it's got 240 grit on that side and 400 grit on that side, and to remove the main we go with the 240 grit, then to smooth off we use the 400 grit. And once we've got them all level, then we can set about, we'll get the edges off, we'll get the bevels done, then we'll set about re-crowning and blah-de-blah. Re-crowning, polishing and all that gubbins. So that's the way I do it. I'm going to clean this file up. There you go. Give that a good clean, and I'm going to use that. I'm going to remove the material I want to remove. Once I've done that, I get onto the next part. I may come back and show you, I may not, it all depends. I want to blob on with this a little bit now, so till the next update, hang in there, I'll come back soon. Right, good day. I'm just back from a 4-day break. I've been in Cornwall for 3 days. I had a great time down there. I didn't work yesterday. I'm back with this Takamine EN-18 Dreadnought guitar. Since the last time I videoed, we've completed the level of the frets, we've re-crowned the frets, of which we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left to do. So I'm going to show you one now. We took all the edges off, all along the length of the neck, and we've done the bevel. I did all that off camera, did all that this morning. Got 6 left to crown. I'm crowning with, I'm not using the crowning file, I use that for finishing only now. I use this 3-sided crowning file with ground edges. You just get I prefer to use this because you're feeling the frets, and you're seeing with the marker on the top as well. You can see we've got about 2mm wide of marker pen on the top because the frets are flat. We're now going to put in that curve. And how we do that is we take the file, and as we go across, we go at 90 degrees vertical at first, then what we do is we roll over as we come in. So all I'm going to do is do that and roll in as I come across, and we're going to leave a thin blue line down the centre of this fret, probably around about 1/2 millimetre. And that 1/2 millimetre of blue line on the top is where the string is going to hit the fret. I want as minimal contact as possible, not too small a contact, but it's going to cut the string in half. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that crown or that curve back on the fret where we've filed it flat. As you can see, I'm rolling over as I go across. I think there we are just about done there. Now you see down here we've just got a thin line all the way across the fret. That thin line is where the bottom of the string is going to hit the fret. Once that's done, I'm going to take the crowning file or the profiling file. I'm going to give a couple of strokes just to remove any burrs. I'm going to use both sides. That's a 3mm side. This is a 2.5mm side. Just to remove any burrs. And there you go. That's that fret done. Absolutely beautiful. Now we're rounded. We've got that curve back in there. I'll just dip down to see it. Absolutely beautiful. Got a small area now that's going to hit the string. And that's wonderful. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left to do. So I'm going to crack on with those. I don't know if you're going to see. I'm going to zoom in just to show you this one. This is the one I've just crowned here. You've got a small thin blue line down the centre. Means we've got that curve back in there. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left to do. So I'm going to crack on. Once I've done these 5, I'm going to remove the guitar from the jig. I'm going to take it over to the other bench. And we're going to do the fret polish. And once the polishing is done, that's it. The refret and polish is done. We can then cut the knot, cut the saddle, and we can get some strings on and get it set up. Hello again, back with the with Bob's Takamine EN-18, and last part of the video I was showing I got the frets levelled, crowned, and I was ready for polishing. Well, I've been and done the polishing. I didn't bother filming any of it because I've done that many films on fret polishing, so I've actually got it done. I've polished the frets, cleaned up the fingerboard, removed all the tape, and there you go, there's the refret. Brand new frets on the whole fingerboard. Looks beautiful. All nicely beveled, all nicely levelled, nicely crowned, nicely polished. So all that remains to be done on the guitar now is I need to install a new saddle, which I'm going to cut tomorrow. New nut, which I'm going to cut tomorrow. I've got a Martin type nut, which I've already carved to a rough shape and fitted. Did a test fitting, it's absolutely fine. Just need to polish up the fingerboard. I'm going to re-stain the fingerboard as well. I use some Rustin's wood dye. I'll go with an ebony stain and we'll darken that up a little. Get a little bit of polish on the edge of the fingerboard there. Everything's all cleaned up nice. There's a bit of glue remnant which I hadn't noticed before from where I super glued the frets in, where it leaked out the side slightly. We'll just give our light sanding and polish up there. And I've also finished the hole fill on this end of the guitar. Now it's not super polished. I'm not going to get a super polish on there because it's not something I can do at this place. I just don't have the facilities for paintwork and lack of work. But the fill is flush. It's absolutely solid. You saw how I did that, the trickery I used to get that to stay in. I've had a mirror and a light inside the sound hole to look at the actual plate I made behind there. So that is absolutely solid. It's probably stronger than the original wood would have been. It's absolutely beautiful. You hardly notice it. Guitar plugged in, played, you're not going to notice that. You know, the light makes it look worse than it actually is. I'll get some, what I will do is I'll get some polish on there and I'll buff it up a little bit tomorrow when I've got the bits done. So now we're ready for, like I say, cutting the new saddle, cutting a new nut. We'll get some strings on and we'll check the action. Bob's told me he likes a relatively low action, so we're going to be particularly straight neck, keep it as straight as possible. I'll have a tiny bit of relief in there. I'm going to get the action down to round about, I'm going to aim for 2mm on the low E. See how we get away with that tomorrow. I think we should be able to do 2mm quite easy. It's actually is a bit low for an acoustic guitar, but it's what Bob wants, so it's what we're going to try. We're going to go with. I don't see there being any problems there. So I say with this, another few hours on this, and we're absolutely done. Great little project. I'll clean up the tuners as well, and this inside with some bits knocking about inside the guitar. I've got to vacuum out, which I'll do tomorrow. The wires for the EQ and everything, I've taped that all up, glued it all to the inside of the body because they were hanging about a little bit loose. I've got them all taped up, all cables all tidied up and everything. So I think once he gets this guitar back, he's going to be really, really pleased. We're going to basically have a complete new fret job, new nut, new saddle. I've fixed that hole in the bass. I've not charged for that. 3 hours work, 2-3 hours work I've not charged for there. So I think he's going to be really pleased. Like I say, tomorrow, while I'm cutting the saddle, and the nut. I'll also stain the fingerboard. We've got it taped up, stained, and we're going to go. It's going to go pretty well. It's going to play beautiful. And frets are fantastic. Let me get you close up on them frets. We're all nicely rounded off now. They were very flat because I took quite a bit of material off the top. They're beautiful. If you want to zoom in, you have a look there. Beautiful. Really pleased with how that's gone. And that's it. So that's where we are with this guitar. I'm knocking off for the day. I've done enough today, and I'm going to be back tomorrow. So I'll catch you then. Good day, sunshine, as the Beatles said. Except it's pretty summertime. So there ain't no sunshine. Well, not naked sunshine. It's behind a load of clouds up there. It's the way it goes in England in summer. We've had some good weather, so let's not complain. We've got some more due, so all to look forward to. So let's crack on with this Takamine EN-18. I've got it on the bench. We're at the final stretch, just about. Stripped off all the tape, cleaned everything up. I will agree, we've got a beautiful fret job on there. All that remains to be done, I polished the top as well. Cleaned it all up, got it a good polish. We filled in that hole at that end there. Not a pro job, but a tidy job and a structurally sound job. It's not my thing, paintwork and lacquer and those sort of jobs, because I don't have the facilities. But the guitar is looking fantastic. All that remains to be done now is fit the saddle, fit the nut, and put some strings on it. The nut we've gone with is a Tusk nut, T-U-S-Q, Graftech of Canada, of course. This came with a slanted bottom, which I have filed. It's being a Martin nut. It's slanted down that way, I believe, from there to there. I've cut off the slant. I've filed the bottom. I've also made it quite a bit thinner because it's 1 millimetre too wide, too thick. So it's a really, really good fit. It slides in beautiful, it sits level, and it sits tight. There you go. Just need to do a little bit more shaping on the far side. Or is it the near side? Anyway, we'll find that out. It fits in beautiful on the guitar. We're obviously going to glue that in. When it comes to the bridge, the saddle, we're split, 4-2 split. 4 strings, 2 strings. So what I'm going to do is, this is a rough shape. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it to rough shape. I've got it upside down, again T-U-S-Q. I'm going to cut it to a rough shape. Then we're going to split it wherever it needs to be split, down this side somewhere. And we're going to reshape as it's on the guitar. So the strings are going to be high when I first get them on. And what we'll do is we'll shape it once we've got it in. So there's a good hour's work in there. And in the nut, a couple of hours left on there, I think, and stringing it up. So that's what I'm going to be cracking on with this morning. The guitar should be ready by lunchtime. I'm not going to set a deadline though. You know, I'm just going to take my time, get it right. The frets are all level. I've been across with fret rocker this morning. The guitar's in pretty good shape for what it is. And we know it's a bit beaten up and a bit battered and a bit, you know, it's 31 years old. But it's all about it playing right, and that's what it's, you know, that's why I've come and spent quite a lot of money on this. It's not been a cheap affair. But a refret is not a cheap affair, so I'm going to crack on with it, and I'll come back once the guitar is all been put together and we've got some strings on it, and we'll see where we are. Good day, people of guitar world. Just about the final bit of this Takamine EN-18. I've had the strings on, I've had it strung up, had the nut on, new saddles on there, had it strung up, tuned it in, played it. Absolutely fine. Just a couple of things I've got to finish off on, like I had to finish the nuts. I've taken my strings back off because I needed to adjust the nuts. There's the nut, the new nut. As you can see, it's cut nice and low. You have to zoom in and see that. Take my word for it, it's cut nice. Let's have a look there, see where we are. Cut nice and low. I better take the strings off anyway because all the gubbins that fell inside from when I plugged that hole, I've got to vacuum all that out, so that's a good thing. I've cut the nut real low. We're just about 0.4 millimeters above the first fret with the bottom of the strings. Also, I've removed the saddles. Now, Bob said to me he's looking at getting about 2mm above the 12th fret. And I was on the low E side. On the top E side I was about just over 2. On the low E side about 2.5, but that's with relief in the neck. I've got about half a mil or a third of a mil of relief in the neck. So I was a little bit reluctant to take it any lower. I've decided to remove a 1/4 of a millimetre from the bottom of each saddle. That's going to give me an action of about 2.25 mil above the 12th fret. It's a happy compromise. We're not going to get any buzz because I've got a little bit of relief in there, and we're not going to get any buzz anyway because the fret's a real level. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now, and I'll show you the bits of saddle I've got, and I'll show you the front side of each one. And there's the front side of each one. We've got a 4 and a 2 split, which I've hand carved. I've also put a gradient where it's going backwards, so the string comes over the top and drops down. You'll see there, I've just marked a little bit of red pen. That one almost half a mil, this one about a third of a mil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly sand the base of each of these. Not going to take a lot off, I'm going to take round about 1/4 of a mil off each. It's going to be a happy compromise, and I'm going to be really happy with that. Then if I take the relief out of the neck, we're going to have an action of 2 mil above the 12th fret, or roundabouts. And if I leave a bit of relief in there, about 2 1/4 mil, it's going to be absolutely fine. So that's all I've got to do. So I'm going to sand that, get the strings on, test the guitar, and I'm going to come back and we're going to finalise this video. The guitar will be done today. It'll be done in the next hour or so. So I'm back with a final update very shortly. Welcome back. And this time we've finished. It's about 30 minutes since I spoke to you. The guitar is all set up. Absolutely beautiful. Saddle as low as I want to go on there. I've taken some relief out of the fingerboard, out of the neck, just to bring the action up a little bit, which skimmed a little bit off the bottom of the saddle. Got the action above the 12th fret on the low E string. I know where I've got it. I've got it at 2 mil like he wanted it. But to do that, to compensate, I took a little bit of relief out. Still got a little bit of relief in there. We're exactly 2mm above the 12th fret, and we're about 1.75 on the IE. Absolutely perfect. We've got the tiniest bit of relief. If we need to get that action a little bit higher, we could put a bit more relief in the neck. If we need to get a bit lower, we can take a little bit of relief out. I like to be able to do that, alter the action, just by altering the truss rod slightly, a 1/4 of a turn either way. It's absolutely bang on. I'm pleased with the height of the strings above the 1st fret. We're looking round about 1/2 millimetre, a little bit less on the low E strings. The guitar is beautiful. It sounds nice. That's it, we're all done. I'm going to show what I've done to this guitar. This guitar came in, it needed a new nut, needed new saddles, which I've cut by hand. We went with Graphtec Tusk, which is a man-made ivory, spelled T-U-S-Q. Hand carved nut and saddles. Also giving the guitar a complete refret. Going to show the frets from the side there if you want to zoom in and have a quick look. Absolutely beautiful. You have to excuse the noise from the other room. My wife is entertaining. Now I've got a friend round. And that's it. So there you go with the frets. You want to zoom in there if you want to see the frets. Really lovely fret job. 2.7 mil wide by 1.1 high. I skimmed a bit off the top to get them all nice and level. Plus we didn't want a high fret on this. So we're looking around the frets are probably around about 1 millimetre high, maybe a little bit less. I've given the guitar a good clean all round. I've tightened up the tuners, front and back, and I filled in, there's a hole there where there was another input jack. I filled that in. You have to rewind my videos to find out how I did that. Used a bit of trickery in there. That is going nowhere. It's as colour matched as I can really get it. I'm not a wood finisher. I can't do finishing and the like here, so I didn't charge for that. So it's a couple of 3 hours here, not charged for. And that's it. The guitar is absolutely ready. I'm going to ring Bob now. I'm going to let him know that the guitar's ready to pick up. I'm sure he's going to be pleased with it. and you can come and fetch it today. So as always, when a project has finished, I'll sign off by saying first check the websites. The best one to check will be facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. That's facebook.com/NG17. Always best to get here, check my reviews, check me out, give me a go, get in touch if you want a guitar looking at or anything. And that's really it. So until the next project, as always, be good to each other, and I'll talk to you soon.